Drake's lawsuit against UMG looks like a defamation case on the surface, but underneath, it's really about power, leverage, and contracts. From the very beginning, the first thing Drake asked for in discovery wasn't financial records or promotional emails. It was Kendrick Lamar's contract. That wasn't an accident. Drake appears to be gambling on discovery, hoping that if he can pry open Kendrick's deal, he'll have proof UMG can and has given better terms to another superstar. With that in hand, he could walk into settlement talks not just fighting over defamation, but forcing UMG to face the question he really cares about. Kendrick has a better deal with UMG. Back in March, Drake sent a request for production to UMG for Kendrick's contract. A few weeks later, the judge ordered both sides to submit a joint letter together, updating the judge on the status of the case and the communications between Drake and UMG on issues that affect the lawsuit. As part of that update, the judge ordered both sides to submit, quote, a brief description of any discovery that is necessary for the parties to engage in meaningful settlement negotiations, as well as a list of all prior settlement discussions, including the date, the parties involved, and the approximate duration of such discussions, if any, end quote. Here's what UMG and Drake said in response. Quote, the parties agree that settlement discussions would not be productive at this time, end quote. And then Drake's lawyers also told the judge this, quote, plaintiff believes that in order to engage in meaningful settlement negotiations, he needs discovery into the following: Kendrick Lamar's contract with UMG. This suggests that Kendrick's contract is not just a part of Drake's overall discovery and lawsuit strategy, it is central to it. Today, months after he first demanded it, Drake's obsession with Kendrick's contract pushed him to file a motion to compel, asking the court to force UMG to give Drake an unredacted copy of Kendrick Lamar's contract with UMG. Why? Because according to UMG's lawyers, they had an agreement with Drake that he would only get access to one section of Kendrick's contract, the part that dictates whether and what control UMG has over song lyrics, images, and music videos. Drake demanded that specific section. When it was given to him, he reneged on his agreement with UMG, and now he wants a judge to force them to hand over the entire contract. UMG's response shows they see through this. Their opposition to the motion to compel calls Kendrick's agreement completely sensitive, irrelevant to defamation, and dangerous to disclose, even under attorneys' eyes only. They explicitly argue Drake wants it for leverage, not for claims and defenses. And Lucian Grange himself swore out a declaration under penalty of perjury, accusing Drake of weaponizing litigation to force renegotiation of his own contract. That's a rare personal intervention from a CEO, and it shows UMG believes Drake's endgame isn't limited to winning a lawsuit. It's about revenge against his perceived adversaries and renegotiation leverage. The business logic checks out. By all public reporting, Drake World feels burned by his most recent re-signing with UMG. They claimed UMG lowballed the valuation of Drake, meaning he's locked into a structure that doesn't reflect what he thinks he's worth. Meanwhile, Drake lacks exit leverage. UMG owns most of his most valuable masters, his publishing, and his most valuable catalog. He can't credibly threaten to walk elsewhere without those assets. The only plausible way to pry open his own deal is to prove UMG treats other megastars differently. If Kendrick's contract is truly unprecedented, then Drake can say, "You've done this before, so don't tell me it's impossible." That would be his only bargaining chip. Finally, the personality pieces line up. Drake has never absorbed the reputational hit from losing the feud. After all, he's sued. He's willing to burn bridges publicly, and he's historically been thin-skinned about challenges to his status. A scorched earth lawsuit serves two functions: to exact revenge and to pry open discovery that might give him leverage for a better deal. The pettiness and the business gamble coexist. They're not mutually exclusive. It is extraordinary for Drake to admit that he won't even think about settling his lawsuit with UMG until he has Kendrick Lamar's contract. That tells you everything about his priorities.